Friends, family, fans, we are back with another episode of Back Nine Bets, baby. Episode 136. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to you all that celebrate this wonderful week of the Zurich Classic, where we will be going over optimal alternate shot lineups for you guys because the Model Maniac's gone rogue. We have got everything good and Gucci. We are looking at the course-specific breakdowns that we need. We got the live chat, can deep dive a couple teams. Lots of fun to be had. It's the Zurich. Some people not a fan. For the true tryhards out there, it's a fun week. And I think there's a sort of an edge out there, especially for Showdown. So we will get into that. As always, the show is brought to you by ProphetX, the best alternative to a sports book. Use code FGDegenerates up to get 1.5% up to $200 for you guys on your deposits there. We'll chat about some ProphetX here in a little bit. There are odds. And if you're looking to bet Rory McIlroy and Rory and Shane, you can get them at ProphetX for the best number in the markets. I see there's a plus 380 out there for those guys. So if you're in the mood for that, you're in the mood for that. Let's get right into it. This week we have, I'm going to pull up the Discord here because that's where I want to kind of peruse and show you guys what's cooking over here because we've got some important things. So the first of all, here's the Discord, here's the model, here's the whatever we want to call it. And this week's a very interesting. And before we do that, hello, commentating, Mary Zurich Classic in New Orleans. Hi, Anthony. What's up, sites? And the thumbnail is pretty badass. I do say so myself. One of the better ones I've done for a hot minute. What we have on the screen over here is the whole layout, 18 holes at TPC Louisianna. And I do want to also, before I even get there, congratulations to nobody last week because nobody guessed the correct dead freaking last name. Someone threw out there a Nick Dunlap and he got DFL'd by Joe Highsmith. Congratulations to Joe Highsmith. When you get beat by Nick Dunlap in his current state of his game, times are tough for you. But that's the Cognizant Classic winner, Joe Highsmith, people. Golf's a crazy game. Crazy game. Anyway, congratulations to nobody. This week, we're going to have to go ahead and go again. Pick the worst team, the team that you think is going to finish DFL. Comment below after this video is live and make sure that you let me know who's the DFL team that's going to land up finishing last. And I will get you a free month in the Model Maniac Patreon, which is in the link in the description below as well. Use code Zurich for 25% off. I know. Nick Dunlap was +8 after round one, shot an 80, by the way, not 18. I think Stevie G's might be typing again on the road. Another thing I want you guys to do is comment below. Let me know if you want to see guests on the show. I know I do the show with Kenny, and there might be a bit of redundancies maybe going on Back Nine Bets. I'm always trying to bring you guys the best information. If I'm doing two different shows, I don't want to overlap that much. So maybe having guests on here is different. Maybe you want different segments on the show. Let me know so that I can make sure that that is going to happen for you guys, because ultimately you guys are who I am tailing this for. So be sure to let me know in the comments, in the chat, if you want to see guests or if you like me just doing my thing over here as always. You never freaking know. So back to business. Let's get to the course for this week. As you can see on the screen here, we have got alternate shot breakdowns of tees. So you're only going to play 9 tee shots of the 18 holes because you're in a team. And as a result, the guy that goes off the odd tee will have 6 drives and 3 approach shots. The guy that goes off the even tees will have 8 drives and 1 approach shot because only one of the par 3s is on an even hole. All the other 3 ones are on odd holes. So instead of hitting a driver, you're hitting an iron. I'm also seeing Wi-Fi situation here, so please let me know if the signal sucks. I don't know what the heck's going on. Mama Maniac, Grandma just showed up, and maybe she's got some Wi-Fi stuff. Sucking up the bandwidth here. Who knows? I doubt it. But anyway, moving on. When it comes to this course, you can see exactly the approach and drive dispersions, and then as a result, you're going to have all of these approach shots. So the guy that goes off the odd holes will have 11 approach shots, and the majority of them, 8 of them, will be coming from 175 yards and beyond if you're looking at a 300-yard drive. So I think what we're trying to figure out here is when they're playing alternate shots, and even when you're playing best ball, the guys that have the best combination to like overlap holes so that you can have a variety of different skill sets for the various holes that demand different stuff, you can kind of dovetail your best ball things through there, and you can also figure out exactly how you want to play the alternate shot. Now, there's going to be some guys that don't use the correct method and don't go off in the right order, but that's neither here nor there. So here's the Discord, popped up a couple top 10, top 20 ranked teams for me. We've got all the DFS stuff, the betting props, all the different tools we've got, some knowledge bombs, player profile, and then the chat that we've got just to hang out with and have a good time over there. Some Golf God first round leader bets for you guys from our man in the Discord. Here's the model. As always, you can get this at the Model Maniac Patreon in the link in the description below. And we are filtered by the team ranks over here. So we can do that, or we can filter by the best, the most expensive dudes in the field. Typically, that kind of syncs up quite nicely, but maybe we just cruise through with our salary, our total team rank over here for this start of the show. That's where we're going there. I'm going to pull up my guys that I want to chat about because we've got a couple leaders and a couple first-round leaders, some outrights to chat about tonight. Right off the bat, before I even get there, I'm all over the place again. In this column over here, we've got the optimal alt shot rating. So it's what it's doing is figuring out, okay, which way does it need to go in order for the team to best fire off on alternate shots? Who's got the best driving and putting? So because we're going to have so many approach shots for the one dude and so many drives and chips for the other, this is how we're going to break this down. So you can see I've got the key metrics here, 200 plus. I've got off the tee and putting. So someone needs to have really good spike putting and really good strokes gain from 200, really good off the tee metrics and good spike putting in order to make sure that you're making your tons of birdies over there. Then the other person, hopefully you just got teams that are, Rory and Shane are pretty close. They just do it all. But what you want is when you got crappy teams that are cheap, that can fill each other's holes, that's the way to go. So as you can see here, we've got all the different key metrics that we're looking for, because when you are hitting the drives on those holes all the time, and the other person's hitting 11 approach shots, it means you're going to be hitting 11 chips or 11 putts first, usually, unless you're laying up on a par 5 or something like that. Typically, you're going to find these guys, the guys that are hitting the drivers are going to have to be good chippers and putters because they will hit the first longest chip and putt first, and then the next dude will just have to putt in like a 5-foot putt, typically. Hopefully. Hose and filling holes. I know. I was thinking about it when I was saying it too. All right, so now let's get to, that's the philosophy of this week. There's a big edge to be had if you do kind of use this tool to your advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the ratings so we can just have rankings over here because, it's a big screen and I want to have everybody's stuff in the mix. So we'll do that, and then we're going to make a couple smaller over here. There we go. So now we've got exactly what I want. Let's start off with our shortest odds for the week, and it's going to be Andrew Novak and Ben Griffin. They are our two dudes. Where the heck are they? We're going to just search for them here. Novak, not in here. Griffin, there he is. Not Lanto, we're looking for Ben. So we're going to get Tommy Gainey's weird ass out of this situation here and go ahead. All right, so these are the two dudes. They are ranked 10th in the total team ranking. And as a result of that, they are 20th in alt shot and 8th in best ball, which means that you're going to be finding guys that are going to have way different rankings. And that's the fun part about the showdown side of things. So we got Ben Griffin, Andrew Novak, and just overall with these two, what I think is going to happen here is they've both been struggling to get across the line. Maybe in a team event, this is where it happens. Ben Griffin, not as much as Andrew Novak, who just went toe-to-toe with Justin Thomas in a playoff. Someone we've been betting a lot the last little while, Andrew Novak. But Novak's a great putter, not the greatest long iron player, but Ben Griffin is a very solid iron player, if you take a look at them. So that makes a lot of sense for this duo. Neither of them are the greatest off the tee, but they've both got very good other metrics, putting and approach play, and they are 25-1. So you can grab those two dudes over there for 25-1. I fancy them. I fancy them a lot this week, and I think they're going to do some damage. You never know what happens in this team event. We can't go to the top of the board. Just doesn't make that much sense to go with Rory and Shane. But Ben Griffin, Andrew Novak, fun little duo. Let's see what they can get up to for us. Moving on to our next pairing. We're going to rock and roll with a casual Echeverria, Nicholas, and our guy, the Grease Trap. The Nicky Grease Trap, oh so fine pairing over here. I did a lot of the outright bets slightly before I put the model together because, this is also narrative driven. We're going to use the model to derive DFS plays, lower down the board, that kind of stuff. Both are fantastic putters. Both are phenomenal putters. Nico Echeverria, a much better long iron player than Max Griesemann, and Max Griesemann, a much better off the tee than Nico. So in the alt shot, you're going to be wanting Nico to hit all the approach shots and Griesemann to hit all the drives because that seems to work the best. Especially if Max is hitting the drives, Nico hits the approach shots, and then Max is the best putter of the two. Not by much, but he is the best putter. So I like the short game aspect for both of these dudes going forward. They are ranked 10th in the salary-wise at $9,000, and the team total rank is 16th for us. So not the greatest DFS value according to the model, but we do expect both of these guys, Nico being now a 2 or 3-time winner on the PGA Tour, got that pedigree going, and then Max Griesemann has been flirting around the leaderboards, especially in the fall swing, doing his thing, and we want that to work for us this week. So Max Griesemann, Nico Echeverria, 33-1. Let's party with them, see what's going on, and hopefully they bring it home for us. Nico's not the greatest power-rated dude, but Max Griesemann definitely doing the Lord's work in that department. This power rating, by the way, is just the individual. If they just played this golf course on their own, that's how they'd rank out. And it makes sense for best ball because that's what you're going to be needing in the best ball format. So that's our second outright for the day. We're going to go ahead and find our next one, which is going to be the two Canadians. And we are going with Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin at 40-1. They are not necessarily the greatest when it comes to alt shot, but they are a 4-ball menace. We love what they can get up to in that department, and they've done fantastic at this event in the past. If you're taking a look at the two breakdowns for them, we're hoping Nick Taylor is going to take care of business on, oh boy. Hadwin needs to hit the drives. Nick Taylor needs to hit the irons, and Hadwin needs to make the couple putts. That's just how I would suggest these two go off in alternate shots, but they are not necessarily a great alt shot duo. They don't seem to be checking those boxes. They're not filling each other's cheese holes. The Swiss cheese side of things there is not quite working out. The Swiss cheese is the same. You want the cheese to overlap. You don't want to leave holes in the double stack of cheese, basically. That's what I'm trying to get across here. So these two Canadians, if you think about what happens in like these situations in these team events, the nationality duos tend to play quite well. And I think we've seen this in the past. There's a camaraderie. They're comfortable with each other. Makes a lot of sense for that to happen. So we don't mind old Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin doing their thing going forward at 40-1. By the way, we are betting these guys all with each ways at Bet Rivers. Go check out that. There's 6 places with those if you want to do that. Also, we'll be checking some other boxes for other names too. Got some first round leader markets. We've got all of that going on as well. Moving into our next category, our next bunch of boys and girls, we're going to go with the Norgod Svensson duo because this is exciting to me. When I did pull the trigger on these dudes, I had built the model, and take a look at this alt shot team rating. Fantastic stuff. When it comes to the 4-ball, they are 49th. When it comes to the alt shot, they are 3rd. And Jesper Svensson, Nicholas Norgod, they both rate out below average for this tournament as an individual. But Jesper is a fantastic putter. Norgod, not so much. Norgod is a phenomenal driver of the golf ball. And he's also very, very good with the long irons, where Jesper is not. So what you're typically looking for these two guys is to make sure that Norgod is going to be hitting all the long approach shots. So he's going to go off the odd holes, hopefully. And if Jesper hits all the drives, he's not as good a driver as Norgod, but there's definitely a much bigger difference between the long iron play between the two of them, like a significant difference. About 2.5 strokes on average, like power rating wise. That's exactly what's going on there. So you can definitely see these two dudes playing great together. And then if Norgod is hitting all the irons, we don't have the greatest putting performance from him, but that's okay. Jesper's a very solid short game specialist as well. So they make a lot of sense. We will be locking these two dudes in round 2 showdown in a big way. I fancy them a lot. So that's where we're going to go. 50-1. Nicholas Norgod, Jesper Svensson. Love the alt shot side of things. If you're looking for like a bet, try and find the lowest round 2 score for these two dudes. I like that a lot. I'm not sure where we'll find that, if it's even available this week, but keep an eye out. I fancy them in a big, big way. $8,500. We can expect them to be in the same price range for round 2 showdown, which we do have, by the way. Like if you're taking a look at the round 2 showdown for the RBC Heritage over here, this is what we were using. I know a lot of showdown doesn't happen on this channel because you can't do showdown because it's before the tournament. But we have round 2 showdown. I'll bring in all the strokes gain metrics for the week. We check all the different boxes as we go through to try and figure out, okay, who's going to check the most boxes for us. We find out, okay, who's been top 20 in ball striking, who lost strokes putting but typically gains spike putting rounds, who finished top 20 in round 2 strokes gained, who's got the best spike rounds for the field. And then we're looking for a good shot baseline, which means the guys that are hitting it very tight with their irons to give them very, very good birdie looks. That's how we find all the best showdown plays as we go along. We've got the one-and-done tools. We've got the course history, all that jazz for you guys, but we're going to get back to the Zurich model. I see John asking us here how Clark and Taylor morph it. We are almost to the point where we'll be taking some deep dive suggestions. We can take a look at some DFS options once I'm done with the outright betting portion of the show. Moving on to our next guys, we're going to be finding ourselves going after Danny Walker and Ryan Gerard. We are big believers in these two dudes as well. They are the 4th best alt shot team in the field, according to the model. And then their 4-ball rating, a little bit better. So their total team rank is actually 5th in the field. I'm a big fan of them. They are grading well above their value at $7,500. So these two dudes are going to go hardcore into my weekly DFS lineups. I see someone is in the file, so I'm going to show you guys how to make a quick copy. This is ours. You go hit file, make a copy, boom chakalaka, Bob's your uncle. I'm going to get out of this so that we are not stopping other people from getting in the tool. All right, back to the Zurich model here, though. For our boys, Danny Walker, Ryan Gerard. If we take a look at this twosome and what they get up to, if you're looking at Ryan Gerard, he is one of the better long iron players in this field, gaining, he's got a 2 power rating for the strokes gained 200 plus, whereas Danny Walker has been below average, minus 0.6. So that's not going to work out. Gerard's not the greatest driver of the golf ball in this field. That's okay. Danny Walker is very, very solid off the tee in that department. So we'll see what he can do. And then he's a solid spike putter as well. So is Gerard. So their ball striking combination with the off the tee and strokes gained 200 plus is going to really come in handy. So we are believing in those two dudes in a big, big way. Love them in alt shot as well. So like a Gerard and Svensson team combination is going to really work out well for us if we're going with this methodology over here. They are 60-1, these two dudes. And as a result, you're getting some really solid value there, as you can see by their salary of $7,500. I think that's what we're looking for in that department. Now, we have one more, and we kind of went back tracking here because we won some Tom Hoge, and then we named it after the show. So Billy Horschel, Tom Hoge, where the hell are these bogeys? Tom Hoge, we can't do it. We got to clear this out, and then we're going to find our names. Select them all. All right, let's take a look here. We got Hoge and Horschel. The nice thing about their names is you can type in H-O and either of them will show up, and that's why they are named. Ho, 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 baby. So yeah, is the name of the show. As you can see, they're not necessarily the greatest dovetailing squad in the field, but they are just pretty solid across the board for the most part. Billy, a little bit better driving ability than Tom Hoge. And then obviously Tom Hoge, you want him hitting the irons. He's just sensational with the irons across the board. Billy and Tom, both pretty solid putters. I prefer Billy to hit the chips and stuff as well because Tom can get a little sketchy with that department. We don't mind that. But, they grade out quite nicely in the 4-ball portion of the tournament. As an alt shot team, they're grading out 14th. As a best ball team, they're grading out 5th. Now, if you're new to the show, you can listen to the Fantasy Golf Degenerates. Best ball means it's a 4-ball. There's 4-ball and 4 sims going on this week. So when you're taking a look at the contest type and the formats for any like weekend golf that you're doing, and it's a 4-ball or 4 sims, when it's 4-ball, there are 4 balls in play. You feel me? So if you've got 2 teams, there's going to be 4 balls in play. You take the best score of the team to go forward. When you are looking at 4 sims, there are only some balls in play at times. You're only hitting some of the shots in 4 sims because you're hitting alternate shots. So you're not going to hit all of them. You're going to hit some of them. And that's an easy way to remember the different kind of breakdowns for these different formats. So Billy Horschel, Tom Hoge, started options 28-1 at DraftKings. And I believe that's dropped down to 25-1 now. So unfortunately, that's the case there, but it is what it is. Join the Model Maniac Patreon, and you'll get the best lines before they get shorter. Will we cash? We don't necessarily know, but you will at least not be betting as much as you should on each name because we typically get some good CLV for us over there, baby. So that's Billy Horschel, Tom Hoge. And then we're going to go with Cristobal Del Solar and Matteo Manacero as a first-round leader. You can grab them at Bet Rivers for 150-1 for first-round leaders with 6 places each way. They are not going to grade out fantastic, but we've spoken about Cristobal Del Solar. We can go over to our tool here, and I'll show you what we are very excited about for Cristobal. When we take a peek here, once this pulls up, this is part of the Model Maniac Patreon, by the way. Very, very cool stuff. We got Scotty Scheffler's profile up here right now. Let's get Del Solar going on because he has a phenomenal profile. As you can see here, this is his round 1 stuff, his strokes gained by round. He is averaging 1.64 strokes in his career in round 1, and he's losing strokes pretty much in every other round. So he's just a round 1 juggernaut. If we click on round 1 over here, we can take a look at his most recent round 1s, and it's quite sensational. Valero Texas Open, he gained a stroke in round 1. Lost a couple at the Valspar, but at the Puerto Rico Open, he gained 2. At the Farmers Insurance, he gained 4.5. So he's kind of lost his groove on the PGA Tour. We're still hoping he can get it together for us, but I fancy his chances to be on the first-round leader page at some point in this career on the PGA Tour, if he even stays on there. He is the guy that shot a 57, I believe, or a 58. I can't remember which number it was, but we can actually find it. Yeah, we can just filter by score. It wasn't in round 1 though, so we got to do that. Find out. He's got a couple 62s. Where is that? Is Corn Ferry? No, it was a while ago. Okay, where the hell is that score for him? Yeah, okay, but he went nuts. Don't know where it is. We'll have to take a look. Was it some random event? I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter. We like him a lot in round 1. That's where we're going. I'm a believer in him. Matteo Manacero, we can actually just take a quick peek at his thing and see what he's been up to. I don't know if he is the optimal round 1 guy. Not necessarily, but it's his second best round. He likes a good Saturday, though, gaining 1.5 strokes on Saturdays for Matteo and still gains 0.6 in round 1. I like the fact that it's best ball because Cristobal can do some dumb stuff and still get away with it because Matteo is pretty solid across the board. We'll see what they get up to. And then, as always, Commentating Nerd, by the way, said so that he's going to be looking at Keith Mitchell and JT Poston. Man, this team event's brutal. You got to remember exactly who these guys are playing with. JT Poston and Keith Mitchell for first-round leaders. That's exactly where we're going to be going with those two to attack that market. Love that at 33-1 on Bet Rivers with those 6 places each way over there. It makes a lot of sense to me. Makes a ton of sense to me. And Whether or not they get across the line, we don't know. But round one, Keith Mitchell has been sensational. So we are big believers in those two for first round leader. As always, the strolling bets today, because the weather's going to be a little crappy tomorrow. We're also going to be going with Tom Hoge and Billy Horschel at plus 225 for a top 10. So he's stacking them top 10, top 5, and to win this tournament. So that's where we're going with those two. We are big fans of them. All right. Some questions. Clark and Moore, how do they fit? They are the third graded guys in the model. Overall, they grade out fifth and sixth for the two different formats. And if we're taking a look at Wyndham Clark, he's a very solid wedge player and great off the tee with that distance. His putting is also not too shabby. Taylor Moore, we're going to be looking at him to do probably the putting and driving of the golf ball, and Wyndham hitting the irons. I think that's probably the way these two would probably pair up. Wyndham Clark doing the majority of the heavy lifting there. Taylor Moore is just a great putter. That's his like thing. He just is so damn good with the putter and the driver. So it's a good combination, actually, with Wyndham doing the iron play. I don't mind them at all. They're $9,500. Their salary rank is 6th, but our team total rank for them is 3rd. So there's some value there. I wouldn't mind going to them in some DFS lineups at all. So we can make those guys purple. Must remember to put that back in the OG model to make sure that we are looking at the right guys. So that's Taylor Moore and Wyndham Clark for you guys when it comes to their alt shot best ball combos. If we're taking a look at some other names, Hoshino and Orishi. All right, gee whiskers. Interesting names there. Let's take a look here. Oshino, Orishi. Where the heck are these? Hoshino, Rikuya, Hoshino. The two Japanese guys, $6,200. Take a look. Ooh, interesting. So one of them, Rikuyu Hoshino, is very solid from 200 plus, gaining or not gaining, but his power rating is over 1 strokes over there. So is Kato Onishi, gaining half a point in the power rating from 200 plus. He's also a very good putter, Kato is. So hopefully Rikuyu, however you say that name, goes ahead and takes care of business for us in the ball striking front, and then we get Onishi taking care of the putter. Those two would make a solid combo. You see the strokes gain leverage off the tee, not nearly as solid as their strokes gain leverage on approach. So this is like, I guess I could have brought this in here at some point, but I think what we're looking at is, get this out. This is all old crap. When you're taking a look at these breakdowns, you can see, okay, this is how the power rating would work if player 1, aka Rikuyu Hoshino, goes off the odd tees, or if he goes off the even tees. You know what I'm saying? So you can see what's going on over there. We can see which player works best to go off the optimal tee boxes, because it's a big deal. You know, this course really fits nicely to use some strategy going forward over there. So I fancy these two dudes. You know, they can probably get some stuff done for you at $6,200. I don't mind it. You know, they're a solid duo. We saw some Ventura and Rosner. French Ventura, I called them on the FGD show. I don't mind them at all. What's their price tag? I think they're down in the bottom over here. Highlighted. Let's do this. Purple's a terrible color. Chris Ventura, Antoine Rosner. Their alt shot rating is pretty damn solid. Like them a lot because Rosner is a great iron player. Very, very good from 200 plus. Not the greatest driver of the golf ball, but don't stress. Chris Ventura to the rescue. Gains a solid amount off the tee over there. So these gains half a stroke off the tee. So we don't mind that at all. And then, you know, Ventura putting wise, you know, gaining half a stroke as well, while Rosner in the same boat. So a solid combination for a $6,800 golfer. We've got them graded out at 24th in the model. So we're going to be using these two dudes quite religiously at the bottom, especially if you're locking in Rory and Lowry at $12,400 freaking dollars. You feel me? So, yeah, that's where we're going over there. Some other names you mentioned here. Ventura Rosner, yes, commentating nerd knows exactly what's up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. They've had some sneaky form entering the week. Absolute. Yeah, exactly. So we're rocking and rolling there. Let's take a quick peek at John's question for Akshay and Carson Young. Beautiful stuff. Akshay Bhatia playing with Carson Young, not Cameron Young. And when they come to the rating side of things, their overall rating is better than either of their unique round ratings. So the alt shots 24th, their best ball is 20th, and the team total is 19th, which is, a product of their consistency across the board there. Akshay, a great long iron player, if you say so myself. He's much better than Carson Young in that department. He's also just a better golfer than Carson Young pretty much across the board. So you're going to have to find the worst area of Akshay's game in order to fill those holes for him. So Akshay Bhatia finds himself as a very solid putter, great driver of the golf ball, but I think the glaring issue here is the iron play from 200 plus for Carson Young versus Akshay. If you take a look at the difference here in the strokes gained 200 plus leverage, that's where we're going to be looking for these two dudes, because I need to probably zoom in a smidgen more, don't I? But then I can't see that stuff. It's a different model. So we're trying to work, I don't know. Can you guys see what's going on the screen? I guess I should have asked that like ages ago. But that's fine. So we're back to these two dudes. I absolutely think Akshay needs to go off the odd holes, hitting those irons, and then Carson Young takes care of the driver. Started off the tee, nothing too crazy. He's about just above average, and then he's going to be dealing with the putting. So Carson Young's a great putter as well, gaining 1.09 strokes, 1.1 strokes there on the field typically. So that's a solid combination for alt shots. I don't mind that at all. It would be better if Young was an elite driver of the golf ball as well, not necessarily too worried about his iron play, with Akshay doing a lot of that heavy lifting from 200 plus. Very, very solid in that department. So I fancy them. Let's filter by the alt shots and kind of figure out, okay, for some showdown stuff, because I think it's going to be fun to get involved here. We're going to just move those numbers out of the mix and zoom in a smidgen more. Some values, some immediate values. I like the color coding going on. You can see, okay, Chris Ventura, Lanto, Jackson Suber, Mac Meisner. Those four names are in the 6K range, $7,000 and below, providing some very solid value when it comes to their alt shot numbers. We've already spoken about Ventura and Rosner, Lanto Griffin, and Cameron Champ. If you know who Cameron Champ is, great putter, great driver of the golf ball. 200 plus and out, not the greatest, but still very solid. If you're taking a look at Lanto, he does a decent amount when it comes to the long irons at 200 and out. So he's going to be filling that void in the alternate shot realm. Cam Champ obviously playing solid on the greens. The chipping for him is a big, big issue. So hopefully Rosner or Lanto can hit a lot of greens. So the Champ is putting instead of chipping, because that can get real greasy real quickly. So I don't mind these two dudes if you're looking for a $7,000 option. Jackson Suber, Pearson Coody. Pearson Coody is going to be doing the driving and the putting. Very, very solid options over there, gaining 1.7 strokes in those two departments. And then Jackson Suber, pretty damn solid when it comes to strokes gained from 200 and out. If we take a look at Pearson Coody's 200 yards and out metrics, he's losing half a stroke basically in that department. Now, this is a power rating. I'm not saying that they gain a million strokes there, but it's a power rating. I shouldn't be saying strokes gained. It's just a power rating because we want to make everyone on the same level. I don't think there is. Oh, no, this is per round. No, it's a power rating. I'm getting way too nerdy about my own stuff. Yeah, we're good to go. So Suber, Coody, 7K as well. When you're looking for them to, we're going to need Suber to take care of business when it comes to, they're both good putters. So that's okay. We're looking for Suber to do the long iron stuff, and then Coody needs to drive and putt very, very well in order to get that alt shot situation rocking and rolling. When we're looking at Mac Meisner and Noah Goodwin, $6,900 options, rated 12th in the alt shot team model. Why is that the case? Because Noah Goodwin is phenomenal. Look at this crazy strokes gained dispersion for this man. Noah Goodwin got like -2 power ratings for his inside 150 yards metrics, but he's 1.64 when it comes to 200 plus, which is very, very solid. So we want him to hit all the irons from 200 and out, and he's going to be missing most of those wedge flickers that we got to deal with. If we take a look at the research that I did here for the course, when it comes to the guy that's going to be doing all the driving and putting on the holes that he's not doing that and hitting irons, they're all inside about 160 yards. 4 of those 7 are 160 and in. Under 200, 5 of them. So the long iron play, not nearly as important for that one person going off the even holes. Yes, even approach shots are quite there. So, yeah, thought I'd just mention that to you guys over there. Let's take a peek at some other things going on. Are we assuming the golfers aren't going rogue and playing their shittiest shot metric they have? That's the thing. This is, as long as Zach Johnson's not meddling in the mix here, you never know what could happen. But this is hoping for optimal golf. That's where the edge lies, is if these teams do figure out, okay, I'm a solid long iron player, I'm a good driver, I'm a good putter. Let's do it that way. I'm sure they're going to be trying to win this tournament, so I'm sure they got some sort of analytics guy helping them out, hopefully, or at least just discussing their game and saying, like, look, I'm way more comfortable doing this, and that. Maybe they get to the right solution here. There's also just a 50-50 shot that they do get it right without even trying. There's also a 50-50 shot they get it wrong. That's just how it goes. So we're kind of hoping for the best case scenario, but that's what you're going to be getting when it comes to this situation. In round 4, we should have the answers because we'll have seen what they did in round 2. I doubt they just switch it up. So in round 4, if they did optimal pairings off the right tees, then you can definitely find, solid options with them going forward. Some other names we've spoken about: Ryan Gerard and Danny Walker, Jesper Svensson, Nicholas Norgod, great options there. Colin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama should be pretty damn solid when it comes to the alt shot pairing side of things. Colin Morikawa, not the greatest long iron player, but he's very, very, very solid when it comes to the wedges. And his driving and putting is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Better than the driving and putting of Kurt Kitayama, but Kurt Kitayama is a better long iron player than Colin Morikawa. He's got a bit more power going on there. So that's why they're going to be a solid alternate shot pairing. I think we can definitely look at them in round 2. I'm not as thrilled about them, but Colin Morikawa hasn't necessarily thrived at this kind of venue. Like the team events, he missed the cut with Max Homa couple. I think he's missed the cut with Victor Hovland here. So it's just not the best. We're gonna have to take a look, see how popular he was. They were in week long and in round 1 showdown. Maybe people don't necessarily split the two up that much. If they get PM AM tee times, that also changes the difference in ownership. So I wouldn't mind them going off in the afternoon. Get some ownership leverage on the two dudes and give them a chance to work us some magic in that department. Chad Candle's asking if I can get one more really curious about Stella Dweller, John Pack, and crew. Let's unpack that one for you, my bud, and see where that goes. I don't mind. I think I actually mentioned Pack on the Fantasy Golf Degenerates one. He may be highlighted for us. There he is, highlighted purple. So Taylor Montgomery and John Pack. John Pack, half a stroke gain putting, great long iron play. For his price tag, $6,400, I don't mind it. And then we got Taylor Montgomery with the great putting side of things. So long irons, putts. If Pack's hitting it on the green, Monty can make those putts. Now, whether or not Monty gives him a chance to hit on the green with the irons with that kind of driver, who the heck knows? But this course is reasonably forgiving off the tee. If you miss it in the right spots, I think they can get it done. At $6,400, I don't mind it. When it comes to the 4-ball rankings, they'd seem to grade out a little bit better because I think there's spike potential with Monty on the squad there. He can go rogue with the birdies. He can also go rogue with the doubles any given day, So I kind of fancy Montgomery playing with somebody. Now, do I like that it's with John Pack? Not the greatest, teammate to have, but he can get it done. We'll see what he can do. Love the spike potential for Montgomery. Love the spike putting potential in a format like this, particularly in best ball. That's when you just need to roll putts in after each other. So I don't mind them at all. I fancy them quite a lot, actually. Probably be avoiding them in alt shot, though. I think they're just both not going to get it done with the driver. No, unfortunately. But they do kind of pair up quite nicely with the spike putting and all of that. So, but you're going to be getting Monty with the putting, but you're going to also get him with the driver in the alt shot side of things. So if the driver's causing issues for Pack, we're going to have problems. So I don't mind them. Cheap, affordable options, solid stuff there. Some other names. Don't mind Joel Damon, Harry Higgs for the alt shot side of things. If we're taking a look at these two over here, Harry, very good long iron player, solid putter when it comes to it. And if you're taking a look at what Joel Damon gets up to, you can get a few spike putting performances there. Obviously, from 2 feet around Punta Cana, not the greatest. RIP there, Joel. But when it comes to the way the alt shot works for these two, we're going to have Harry going off the tee and putting, and Joel Damon with the driver. Is that what we want? I guess they just do it well. Like, where's the leverage here? Do they have a specific, the off the tee leverage, not massive variations. So if player 2 goes off the odd tee shot, so that means that we want Harry Higgs to hit all the irons. Yes, because he's significantly better than Joel in that department. And then it means Joel's going to be keeping his ball in play and making a couple putts. Solid option. $7,300 in alternate shot. Don't mind them either as a full week-long prospect. If we're going to take a look at team 4-ball rankings for best ball side of things, let's filter here. Cam Davis and Adam Svensson seem to grade out quite nicely as a squad. I think they're definitely going to be in the mix at $7,600 for me when it comes to the 4-ball side of things. Both just make enough birdies. Svensson and Davis, they are just super volatile options. So I don't know what they're going to really get up to there, but kind of just looking for guys that can get it done however they get it done, and to have two solid guys playing together in the 4-ball, because Eric Cole's playing with Russ Cochran. I think, is he the guy that from Survivor? I don't know. It's not the guy from Survivor, but remember Cochran from Survivor? Shout out to Survivor fans there. See what's going on. But that's a value option. If we're taking a look further down the board here, Justin Lower, Chad Ramey, solid options for a best ball scenario here. Both very solid power ratings, given the fact that they are $7,100. Both great putters with a spike potential there. Very good spike potential for the two of them there. So I like that a lot. And again, you're getting the Greasem and Nico Echeverria side of things. Bo Haasler and Andrew Putnam, not the worst options either. Taking a look at Bo Haasler's long iron play, been pretty poor. But he can make putts and hit bombs off the tee. So we'll see what old Bo and Putty can get up to. It's also not the worst to have like a long hitter and a short hitter, because there might be a couple holes that require finesse and short game, and a couple that need distance that you can score on. So I don't mind that whatsoever. And in the meantime, I also wanted to bring up some ProphetX for you guys. Let's take a look. They've actually got some Zurich numbers. Yes, so there's tournament winners, and we spoke about this on the FGD show. Yes, Shane Lowry and Rory McIlroy you can get a 4-1 plus 405 if you're looking to bet these guys over there. Goes all the way to plus 390. So you can absolutely get a play going on with Shane and Rory. Now, some of these odds, not the greatest. That's okay. It's peer-to-peer. So what's happening here is someone has decided that they're going to lay minus 2,000 that Taylor Moore and Wyndham Clark do not win this tournament. And as a result, you're getting plus 2,000 for them to win it. So you can jump on that side of things. As we go down here, you can check Colin Morikawa, all those guys. Tom Hoge and Billy Horschel mentioned that they weren't available at DraftKings anymore at 28-1. You can grab them over here at 27.5-1. So that's not terrible either. But as we say, we need more people to get involved, because the liquidity is what makes this work. More people doing this, the better, because this has just had the the best, the best way to use this is when there's lots of people in the mix. Now, there's also NFL, there's draft odds. You're looking for the number 1 overall pick. Yes, Cam Ward. Someone's saying that it's not going to happen. You can jump on that stuff. Showdown, all that jazz. Draft positions, we've got all of that going on here. Over, unders, all that jazz for you guys. Number 2 overall pick, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, or Shedeur Sanders. You can, request a line and put it out there and figure out where you want to go. So draft the top 5. We got all this stuff. Lots of fun stuff. Now, I did want to take a look at some golf things. There's pop culture specials here. Who's going to be the next Pope? So we've got that stuff going on. Like if you're a complete degenerate, there's that for you. Let's get back to the Zurich Classic here and find some round 1 scores. I did a quick deep dive last year. 63 was the best score out there, and that was Rory and Shane with a couple other guys with 63s. 64s, abundance of those, and that's kind of where it's at. Now, a couple people shot 70 best ball. Like, what are we doing really there? So now trying to figure out, okay, 63 is going to be what we're looking at here as like the best score out there. I was taking a peek at Sahith Theegala and Aaron Rai to shoot over 64.5. Now, there's a minus 130 available out there. I didn't grab that yet because I want you guys to get a piece of it, but I put out there a minus 110. So if you say that they are going to shoot under 64.5, there's a plus 110 for you. I'll probably put a minus 130 out there as well, just to make things work. So it's a fun situation. If we're looking for JT Poston and Keith Mitchell, if you are going to want to get involved with them, you can request some odds to go under, to not go over 64.5 over there. I don't mind it. So I think we can definitely go ahead and do it. So if we can just we can request it. So we can go plus 125 for them to not go over 64.5. If we like them as a first round leader, why the hell not? So we don't want to do that. We want to do just a quick little 50 at plus 125 to win that. So now what happens? Oh God, I need to get my location figured out here. Oh boy. Try again. Nope. Okay. So when you're streaming, sometimes the location stuff happens. I promise, I'll get that out there for you guys. Moving along. Sites is asking, I wish DraftKings had better round 1 showdown contests given the best ball first round. Seems like a really fun round 1. Yeah, I know. It's weird, dude. I don't know why. DraftKings, you know how it goes. That's a good question. I can research what the tax implications are. Obviously, it's not bets, it's plays. So there's points and all of that stuff. I'm sure you can look at the terms of use in there without even having to really sign up. But when you do, use code FG Generates. Let them know that we sent you over there. That's a great question. I have no idea. Also, Little Sweaty did the stack system before the show. The warm-up kicked my ass. Holy cow. But we are looking to hit bombs this summer. So it's the 6th or 7th session I've done now. My club head speed's moved up by about 2.5, 3 miles. So mile per hour. So that's going to be fun. Really hit the ball a little longer than most people. So my big old body's going to try and lose a little weight, get a little more limber, knock a few further around the park over there. As always, hit the like, hit the subscribe, people. I'm going on to the King of the Draft on Mayo Media Network here at 9 Eastern. So be sure to get on there. Me and Kenny, not Kenny Kim, Lil Kenny from Twitch and Discord and all of that stuff. He's fantastic at hitting sniping, like 71 2-touchdown player props, things like that. He's going to be my partner going up against Joel and Spencer. And you guys can be part of the show. So you can join in on the chat, and we're doing a draft of this week because it's a team event. We got the teams going on. So you guys suggest who you want to pick when it's your turn. And the first name to get 2 votes kind of gets chosen for the audience's team. And then that name is off the board. It's a draft. So if you guys want Billy and Tom and you get the first pick or you get the third pick and you're still on the table, you can get them, and we are no longer able to draft those teams. So we can have to go elsewhere. It's going to be a fun interactive show on Mayo Media Network at 9 Eastern. Tune in, people. Would love to see you guys there. It's going to be a good time hanging out with Joel and Spencer. I've done shows with them many times as well. I've actually done legit shows with Joel when Rainmakers was still a thing. So lots of fun to be had over there. Okay. Code ZURICH25 get you 25% off to get your hands on the model over here so you can do your own deep diving on things like that. I'll be providing my insights for round 2, round 3, round 4 Showdown. Got a couple cool things going on over there. And it gets you the next month. You can get a year package as well. Save yourself a couple bucks if you buy the year. I'd appreciate that. As always, check out ProphetX. As always, I'll see you guys next week for the CJ Cup, where we got some fun Byron Nelson stuff to chat about. Till then, folks, we will see. Have a great rest of your night. Peace.